These are the speed feed heads I use. See that? They're made by Echo, but they'll say in the back Echo, Husqvarna, Red Max, or Steel. I use them on the Echoes and I use them on the Steels, and they work no problem. So, pull this out of this box here. It comes with string already in it, usually junk string. It is what it is. I usually just burn it up till it goes out, and then I switch to my string. Now, I've never changed the head on this one before, but I know on the Steels there's a hole there, and you stick a screw or something in it, and it locks it in place so that you can turn it. Oh, there's a little slot in this one too. So let me see if I got something laying around up here that I can put in there. I don't. Why don't I have a screwdriver in here? That don't make no damn sense. Here we go. So on the Echoes, there's a slot in the side, and you turn, and there's a little hole right there. Line it up. Stick that in there. Usually they turn the opposite way. Usually, yep. So instead of righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, you spin it to the right to take it off. Now, this one, when this one came out, I bought this Echo, this is the SRM 225. When I bought it last year, it came out with these speed feed heads. The head that sat on here was round. As a matter of fact, I have it. See? That's supposed to be one solid piece on there. See how it's all worn down all the way around? Well, I bought one of the replacement heads, which is what you see here. Instead of being perfectly round, it's kind of like eggshell shape. And it did snap in there, and I thought it would work because it's supposed to be universal. But apparently it did not work. So the new one, that's eggshell too. So they must have changed the design. And that's what they went to. So that one may still work. I may have just put it together wrong, who the hell knows, but either way, so I bought a brand new one, a complete whole set, and I will just put this one on there and be done with it and not have to worry about it. So, I think that's it. It seems pretty snug on there. So, ooh, maybe I went too far. Can't get my screwdriver out of there now. Stab myself in the face, I will. But anyway, so see, that part seems kind of loose on there still. Like it's supposed to go more. Oh yeah, it's definitely not screwed on all the way. Alright, well, let's stick this bad boy back in there. See if I can crank it down just a little bit more. Okay, now it's tight. So that should do the job. So now that's back on. Now we're good to go. Now we can go start mowing. Alright guys, I kept two of my real big properties. This is one of them right here. Let's see if I can show it to you. It's that right there, that whole area all the way to the back. It's this smaller area right over here, and then there's a tiny little patch right there, and a small patch here, and then there's another patch behind that big building there. I'll show you that in a minute. Alright, so here's the deal. I trimmed it all out and I mowed the whole thing. I was going to film it. I wanted to show it to you guys, but I get around back behind that building there, which I'll show you guys in a second. I'm going to walk around, blow everything off, and I have some clumps to break up with the blower. It just wasn't worth double cutting. But I get around back in the sheriff's work release programs back there, and they don't like it when you film them. So, alright, so let's go blow it off. Alright guys, I'm just taking a walk in between the buildings. I'm going to show you the back part here. it just goes back there. There's a new satellite tower they put up last year back there, but right back there's a stone road that goes back to it, and that's where the sheriff's work release program was. They're back there weed whacking along that stone path there. But this is just to give you guys an idea of the size of this property back here. This is the third year I've been mowing this. It's actually a volunteer fire company. They put in them horseshoe pits last year. They're pretty nice, but they don't maintain them. But they're still really nice. It's a nice property, pretty easy to do. I don't ever hear from anyone. Here's another view from the far back, looking all the way up, and then all the way up there right hand side is what I showed you in the beginning when I pulled in. Now I'm back up to the road here, and then there's that side area that I showed you on the way in, that I had to mow that off too. But that's pretty much it. That's the size of this one. Alright, that was just a couple little skits of a quick view of this one here. Like I said, I wanted to film it, but that wasn't an option. I actually one time before, checklist. I actually one time before started to film there, and I had the tripod set up last year, and the guy come over and he goes, you can't film while these guys are out here working. It's a sheriff's work release program. Guys that get in trouble, they'd have to go out and do weekends and stuff like that, or whatever they get whenever they're free, I guess, if they actually have jobs and they work. But yeah, so they have jobs, something to do, whatever, and they come out and do it. But they're beautiful stripes there. So the guy said, he goes, you can't film these guys, and I said, okay, so it's no problem. And so I stopped recording, and then I took what I did have recorded and I just deleted it. You guys never saw that. I didn't put it on. I never put it on because I figured, you know, what happens if they go on if they find my YouTube channel and they see that I recorded that, I could probably get in some trouble. So I didn't want that to happen. Look at my eye. I know it still looks bad, but it's getting a little better. It's starting to scab up now. It turns out it's poison ivy that I have. Look at this side of my hand right there. That's crazy. That was a tiny little bump, and it swelled up into this big bump. We'll have grass on it. It swelled up in this big bump. But I'm thinking I got into poison ivy or something down at that hunt. But anyway, so that's that one there, and let that be a lesson, you guys. Don't get yourself in trouble. You may be weed whacking for free while the sheriffs watch you. So be careful. Alright, on to the next one. Alright, I want to show you guys something. I just mowed this one. You guys have seen me mow this one last year. It's on the side there, goes back, it goes around the back, and that's the cliff. My house is actually at the bottom of that. But you guys have seen me mow this one. I didn't film it because it barely even needed to be cut. But anyway, this is what I want to show you. Okay, this playground here. You see this swing right here? Now, when I had my Great Dane stander, I'd come through here 100 times mowing this thing, and I just kind of kick these off to the side and come straight through. I was in a hurry one day, and if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, look at go to Something to Look At's YouTube channel and check out Mike's restoration on his Great Dane stander. Okay, on the front of the Great Dane stander, it has these bars that come up and then they go straight out, and you push down on them and it raises the deck up so you can move the pin where you want for the different heights. Well, they stick straight out the front. I wasn't paying attention one day, and I come around and I come through here, and this hooked right around one of them, and as I was going, the stander stood right up, and I flipped it over backwards right onto the back of it, and I just as it started to come up, I knew I couldn't back off in time, so I kicked my feet backwards and I threw myself off it. I landed back there on my back, and then the mower shut right down. So Max and I flipped it back up onto its wheels, and once I flipped it back up onto its wheels, I let it sit for like 10 minutes, and I started it up. Oh my God, this whole area, everything you see all up in here, you couldn't see any of those trees. It was all smoke, all black smoke from oil that ran down into the valves, and there was some in the exhaust. It went everywhere, but it was a mess. But then it ran great for the rest of the day, and then the next day it started running like crap. Wouldn't stay running for nothing, and I couldn't figure it out. I couldn't figure out what the hell was going on with it, and come to find out, there was a little bit of sediment. There was all kinds of little stuff down in the bowl of the carburetor. When I flipped it over, it sucked it right up through the jets into the carburetor. So I took the carburetor off and I cleaned it and put it all back together, and the thing ran great up until the day I sold it. Still ran great. So yeah, so be careful of those. Watch out for things like that. Like I said, I'd gone through there 100 times, never thought nothing of it, and I was just rushing. I wasn't paying attention. I hooked that thing and flipped that stander right over backwards. Almost bent up the handlebar stuff because it was laying on the handlebars in the back of it with the front of the mower pointing straight up in the air. I never expected it. I didn't see it coming, but it happened, and it can happen to you. So just be mindful of that, guys. All right, guys, I filmed these 2 yards last year. I think at one point there's this one here that strikes beautifully, and then there's that one back there. That one back there I just cut. This one I did not cut yet. When I sent out letters telling them that I was going to start my first cuts the week of the 18th, he said, don't cut before the 21st, or till after the 21st. I said, well, your day is Thursday, so that would make it the 21st. And he said, okay, just don't cut prior to the don't cut till after the 21st. I said, I will be there on the 21st. I'm cutting the one right next door. I'll walk yours, and if it's not soupy or anything like that, then I'll cut yours too. And he sent me another email back, said, don't cut till after the 21st. I was like, whatever, it's ready to be cut. The last few years it's been such a problem because he runs the sprinklers 5 days a week from spring all the way till fall. And I told him, you don't need to do that. I said maybe 2 days a week, 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes at night, and only through like July and August when it's the worst, the hottest and driest months around here. He said, okay, well, he didn't do it last year. So last year, every week had to be double cut. I didn't charge him extra, which I should have. And I told him, I go, this year, you know, if you don't cut them sprinklers back, because he has it fertilized too. I said, if you don't cut them sprinklers back, I'm either dropping you, you're going to have to find someone else, or you're going to pay a double fee every week. He said, no, I'll cut them back. I said, okay. So now here it is. I tell him I'm going to start cutting, and he tells me to wait. So I like it because it's right next to that other one, which makes it perfect. You know, I hate to give up one that's right next door to another one, but you know, it's come down to where it's going to, it's come down to where I'm going to end up dropping him. There's just no way around it. He's become too much of a pain in my ass, and the money's not worth it. I can replace him with a much easier lawn and make just as much money. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens. What the best thing is about the way I have these routes planned out this year and not having employees is I can swing home for lunch, which I just did. I pulled up in front of my house, and I had a Wegmans sub from last night, which I still had half of it left. And I was going right past my house anyway, so I swung in there and ate part of that Wegmans sub and back into my truck, and now I'm headed to the next one. And it took under 10 minutes. I don't have to pay downtime for laborers. I don't have to pay them to have a lunch or whatever. I always paid my guys straight through the day. I didn't take time out for lunch, which I guess some people do. I've worked for companies where, geez, that truck sounded like crap. And, but some people do. I never did. I've worked for guys that take out for lunch, but anyway, so now in under 10 minutes, I stopped home, had lunch, and I'm back on the road to go to the next one. I like that. I'm going to show you guys something real quick. This is the big church that I mow, and I plow it. You guys will see my plowing videos of it. I'm driving past it right now, but yesterday I had to mow it twice and then bag it. It was a nightmare. I'll give you an idea. Let's see it. I'm just driving past it. It's this right here. That was that church. I